Thank you for your attention. Dear Venerables, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Amitofo. Chers Vénérables, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs,
The Venerables, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nitukia Mansat. I come from Madagascar. And I'm your Master of Ceremonies for the next 2 days. First of all, though, I would ask you to turn off your mobile phones or put them on silent or on vibration so that we can enjoy the best possible conditions for our meeting. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
Rivalry, conflict and war, the human race will suffer from never-ending disasters. If we abandon rivalry, conflict and war, the human race will enjoy boundless good fortune and joy. Dès lors que nous choisissons la rivalité, le conflit, l'humanité souffrira sans fin de désastres.
The same message repeated in French.
Rivalité au conflit et à la guerre, l'humanité bénéficiera pour toujours du bonheur et de la richesse. Autour de ce grand thème,
that is our theme for this morning, and tomorrow we will be discussing those themes with some outstanding debates. This is a very relevant topic today if we look around us and see what's happening today in the world. It's the duty of each and every one of us to, within his own responsibilities and remit, find ways of improving everyone's lives and establish and preserve peace and harmony. But above all, we all know that the choice made by each citizen, which basically determines the choice of each nation, is vital, and we hope that each citizen will choose peace and harmony and not war. The various discussions that started yesterday and that will continue today and tomorrow will, I'm convinced, help us to have a clearer vision, even clearer vision of this, so that we're in a position to make our choices. And as of today, and for the rest of mankind going forward. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to declare our day open, and we have a first discussion panel on the theme of the governing principles of ancient China. Venerable Master Ching Kong gave me this book on the governing principles of ancient China when we first met in Bangkok in 2012. It was an honor and a delight for me to be able to access this huge treasure trove of universal wisdom that I shared. It gave copies of the book to President of the Republic and other officials, government officials from my country, Madagascar. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you a panel that will enter into discussion, provide information, and delve even further into the governing principles of ancient China. And it's an honor now for me to call up Professor Medwyn Hughes, Vice-chancellor of the University of Wales, Trinity St David. And he will chair this panel. Professor, if you'd be so kind as to step up to the stage.
Mr. President, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, Bodhidha, good morning to you all. It's a great privilege for me to be here today to join you for this international conference on peace and to be part of the excellent work within this House, the House of Peace, and of the work of UNESCO, which we all appreciate is at the heart of seeking a common humanity and seeking peace within our world. The various papers you will receive today and tomorrow focus upon the importance of not only communication, but of developing a common narrative where cultural literacy and religious literacy is at the heart of any political social engagement within our world. The success of this House in crafting resolutions that bring world peace depends upon identifying a common language, identifying a narrative that we can all work with. Over the years, the Venerable Master Chin Kung has, within this Honourable House, made an enormous contribution. And as we today consider the implications of tradition, of traditional culture, of interfaith, of intercultural relations, we are also mindful of the key themes of UNESCO as they consider within their own strategic plan the importance of the International Decade of the Rapprochement of Culture. A clear commitment, a global commitment for articulating universal understanding of common values and of working together to secure world peace, social inclusion, focused upon respect for human dignity, solidarity, and respect for the human coexistence in all faiths and secular ideologies. The decade, as you know well, focuses upon specific outcomes, and those outcomes can only be achieved if we can secure that we have a world that is free of violence, a world where there is respect for the fundamental freedom of all its citizens without distinction. It depends upon an outcome where we have an environment which enables the human to see the flourish potential of our communities, where societies and communities can share the cultural diversity within a common language, and where individuals are equipped with the cultural competencies to operate as custodians of a common humanity. More than ever, we must strengthen the values, the shared values that bring us together. Your Excellencies, the work of this House over the years has clearly demonstrated the importance of dialogue, of interfaith and intercultural relations. Bridging the traditions of the East and the West are at the heart of such a narrative. And this morning, we will have the opportunity of learning about the importance of governance and of those core principles that were structured well over 5,000 years ago in the context of China, but which are as relevant today in the context of world narrative as they were then. Identifying common traditions, identifying common language is at the heart of the work of UNESCO, of sharing the respect for tradition, which in the end will make a difference in a single narrative that focuses upon peace. It's my privilege to chair this event, And we have 3 speakers. I would remind them that we have identified 20 minutes for their deliberations, which will allow, hopefully, an opportunity for us to understand more about their specific interests within the governance of China. We will focus upon the political perspective, and then on the academic, and then the business perspective, to secure that those principles are developed across a range of activities within our communities. But it is my great privilege now to call upon the first speaker, who will focus upon the political context, and to invite Her Excellency Mrs. Miriam Katagum, Ambassador of the Permanent Delegates of Nigeria to UNESCO, to the stage. Ambassador, very warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Professor Hughes, and a very good morning to you all. And from the onset, just pardon my husky voice. I'm still trying to recover from a cold. First of all, it's a great pleasure for me to be invited to share my thoughts on the ancient principles of, the governing principles of ancient China. But permit me, I know Master Ching Kong is still on his way here, but to acknowledge his patronage of this event, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Permanent Delegates, my other 2 panelists who will soon be introduced, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the organizers of this International Peace Conference at UNESCO headquarters. They couldn't have been a more appropriate venue, as has been said by Professor Hughes. It is for me a great honor to be among the distinguished panelists for this particular section of the conference, which theme is both timely and timeless by the very issue that is set to address, that is enriching our understanding of the options that we have as the human race towards peaceful coexistence amongst peoples, nations, and nation-states. Indeed, the choice between never-ending disasters or boundless good fortune and joy is made by either shunning or embracing rivalry, conflict, and war, especially when it applies to political leadership and the art of governance at all levels. In my opinion, the governing principles of ancient China is an excellent and complete compilation of thoughts, advice, words of wisdom, and indeed guiding principles to leadership, tolerance, humility, contentment, moral ethics, self-discipline, diligence, and all such virtues that make exemplary human beings and great leaders, and it's ideal for peaceful coexistence, mutual respect, and leading by example. Politics in the positive sense is the art or science of government and political principles, the activities of government, members of lawmaking organizations, or people who try to influence the way a country is governed, the relationships within a group or organization that allow particular people to have power over others, the complex or aggregate of relationships of people in society, especially those relationships involving authority or power, and the methods or tactics involved in managing a state or government. These are among the various definitions of politics. These definitions bring to light the dynamics of political leadership in the dimension of relationships between the governor and the governed, and on the basis and justifications for political formation. They also relay the quality of leadership, the process of leading and management of people, as well as taking both authority and responsibility over a people, a society, a community, state, or nation. As the theme of our conference implies, the perpetual search for peace, boundless good fortune, and joy for the society is at the heart of politics and governance, right from the ancient times. Despite the disparities that still exist among countries and regions, depending on their levels of development, the objectives of politics and public policy have not shifted from this search for peace and general prosperity in any ideal political process. Poverty reduction, economic growth, environmental mitigation, improving social cohesion and well-being, job creation, the attainment of peace, both internally and externally, and the overall concept of sustainable development are therefore ideally expected to be the preoccupation of politics around the world. These ingredients that define political economy and the counsels and methods to coherently provide the environment to attain them are found all over the pages of the governing principles of ancient China. With a deep sense of spirituality, patriotism, cultural and self-awareness, the words from the book emphasize quality leadership by pointing readers to the fact that the act of nation building begins with building of individual character, as well as awareness on the respect and love of peace within and around oneself, with consideration for the good of others, be they superiors or subordinates. Reading through the chapters, one easily draws a conclusion that building an ideal society is closely linked to the quality of individuals that constitute that society, and from which also leaders and politicians eventually emerge. Success in politics is also linked to the understanding by leaders and ministers of the way society works as a combination of normative, economic, social, environmental, and human resources to achieve the so-called general well-being. Since my discovery of the publication, I've been particularly engrossed in admiration for how relevant the so-called ancient governing principles still remain in organizing the political system in the modern world. Permit me at this point to select a few texts from the book that I found pertinent to quality leadership and the character of politics and governance, which I think are paramount to achieving peace, harmony, and sustainable development. On insights and counsel for the making of a leader, there are many reflections in all the 6 chapters in line with the popular saying that leadership inspires followership. It sums up that servant leaders whose mastery of discretion, propriety, righteousness, discernment, piety, as well as respect, wisdom, love, and benevolence, mastering oneself and sound judgment of characters, are well positioned to drive change and lead people and nations to serenity and prosperity. I'm here taking an example from page 214, dwelling on engaging the principles, and I quote, "Learn how to be a good son, and one will know how to be a good father. Learn how to be a good subordinate, and one will know how to be a good leader. Learn how to serve people properly, and one will know how to appoint people to appropriate tasks." These wise sayings emphasize the thin line that exists between serving and being served, and between followership and leadership. They are steps to a deeper understanding of learning to lead through service in every society, and this is the real ingredient of governance. In effect, the governing principles of ancient China emphasize through this particular text that politics and the results thereof in any society can never be healthier than the quality of the individual or individuals that make up that society. Furthermore, I'm going to another chapter, and that's the very first chapter. A leader must cultivate himself and manage his family and government to bring about peace. In the same chapter, we're told that a good government must first eradicate the 4 perils before it can carry out 5 correct policies. The 4 perils are listed as hypocrisy, for it will upset social customs; bribery, for it will wreck the legal system; unruliness, for it will overstep propriety; luxury, for it will breach rules and regulations. It further went, as long as the 4 perils persist, benevolent rule cannot be put into practice, because when social customs are upset, moral decadence will ensue, and no divine being can hope to safeguard the purity of the human nature. When the legal system is wrecked, society will fall apart, and no leader can hope to uphold any law at that point. When propriety is overstepped, proper rights will wither away, and no saint can hope to defend the path of righteousness. Lastly, when rules and regulations are breached, a ruler's desires will become so unfettered that even the vast territories of the four corners of the world could not hope to satisfy his insatiable appetites. As achieving good governance and benevolent political authority are hinged on correct policies, the four perils, as articulated above, come clearly as militating factors to good politics and governance even today. Looking around our nations, especially in regions like mine, where democracies are still young and fragile, these militating factors are very visible and serve as impediments to effectiveness in development. Truly, the vices of corruption, inefficiency, lack of political will, conflicts, and civil unrest in many parts of the developing world are linked to the four perils, which Shen Jian advised that leadership must first strive to eradicate at all costs before he can carry out the 5 correct policies. And I advise you all to find out what those 5 correct policies are by reading the texts yourselves. Nevertheless, the 5 correct policies in the ancient language may sound rudimentary. However, they cover all economic and legal, social, cultural, environmental, and strategic aspects of today's political systems. In effect, the duties of politics, the focus of government action, as well as possible impediments to achieving results, while warning on the need to guard against the impediments. These actions, which should be deliberate on the part of any political leadership, have been so reflected in many parts of the book and are related to the concept of developmental state in international political economy, which according to Chalmers Johnson means focusing on economic development and taking necessary measures to make sure the objectives are achieved. Considering the relevance of the theme of today's conference to the issue of the rise in conflicts and unrest around the world, I will focus my third analogy from the book on the love of peace, conflict resolution, military action, and diplomacy in political leadership for societal well-being. And here I go to passage 274 on strategy and being careful of military action, which points out that a good leader deploys military forces to save and not to harm, to salvage and not to create crisis. Thus, it is said, and I quote, "Warmongers will be annihilated, but he who fails to prepare for war will face danger." In the same passage, we're told maneuvering an army of 100,000 soldiers will cost millions of dollars per day. Winning all battles is not necessarily the best strategy. Winning without waging a battle is the best strategy of all. These counsels, I'm looking at time. These counsels appeal to the dilemma between military strategy and the art of diplomacy, as well as the permanent search by politics for a justification of a choice between military action and negotiation, which mostly depends on political discretion and core values and beliefs towards brokering peace and settlement. The choice, according to the author of this passage, 274, must be based on the consideration for the consequence on the people, democracy itself being the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Our gathering here today gives me an opportunity, it constitutes a part of diplomatic actions in the search and maintenance of peace in our contemporary world. In other words, this conference is a process of search for peace by every means possible, and the exercise of reviewing the governing principles of ancient China reflects our intellectual action and exchange on the preference of peace over conflicts and how to maintain the privilege of peace in our minds as leaders, future leaders, and policymakers. It should be recalled that this ultimate and effective approach to the search of peace is found in the preamble of the UNESCO Constitution, which affirms that since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. One can ideally then say that whosoever adheres to the guiding principles already knows the way of peace, as well as the defense of peace. Lastly, one striking feature that I would like to stress is the universal relevance of the councils in the governing principles of ancient China. The texts speak to all cultures, race, religion, and beliefs. The publication therefore represents a universal school of thought on high moral standards and ethics of leadership, community living, and human decency. In the havocs that are being wreaked around the world under the guise of differences in religions and beliefs, the question has been, how do we rid ourselves of prejudices, either great or small? And how do we learn to give ourselves that golden opportunity to open just a little bit of our minds and let some sunshine of tolerance and maybe a little mutual understanding and love come into our minds? Personally, this publication, which teaches the art of benevolence, leadership, and peace building with a deeper understanding of man, nature, society, the virtue and art of administration and governance, which can be found in all faith-based books and having no reference to any particular religion, is a source of inspiration in the search for a solution to religious-based violence as well. I'm not very certain if I've done justice to my topic, but I leave this to you, the audience, and I encourage you to read the 3 volumes of the book. However, as I mentioned earlier, an editorial review of the book affirmed that it has offered insights into the ancient Chinese political thoughts that are still relevant to today's leadership and political effectiveness in any society. This implies that the book itself is a universal political constitution for building personalities and institutions for effectiveness. Having received my very first copy of the book in Sri Lanka in 2012, I've given out several copies to many people in my country, both leaders and followers, and have received very complimentary feedback on the deepness of the counsel to ensuring a just society through the projection of personal values into public lives and offices. While also recommending the book to as many as have not had the opportunity to read it, I wish to thank once again those who took their time to translate the text from the original Chinese language. The greatest appreciation of all goes to Master Ching Kong, who took it upon himself to initiate the translation and made the book available to us free of charge. Thank you very much, Master Ching Kong, and I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. You gave an excellent overview of those core principles as they relate to political thought and political engagement within our countries. We now move to consider the academic context, and we ask the question, how do these founding principles, how do they relate within an academic context? And it's my great pleasure to call an individual who has made an enormous contribution in interpreting these core principles within the Chinese context of academia and of government, Professor Lui Lu. Very warm welcome to you.
Dear Chairman, Vice-Chancellor Professor Hughes, respected leaders, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to everyone. It is a real honor to be here to share with you the core values of the governing principles of Asian China, which is also the foundation of Chinese culture, honoring parents and respecting teachers. We all hope for world peace. We all hope to promote kindness and love for all. But the world today remains rife with conflict, and people have little love for each other. What is the fundamental cause of this? As a respected Professor Jing Kong teaches, all conflicts stem from the family. A person who has conflicts with their parents or siblings will inevitably have conflicts with others. By respecting and loving our parents and siblings, extending this to respecting elders, such love and respect can bring harmony to our community, can extend to harmony in our country, and ultimately the world. Therefore, achieving world peace and resolving conflict starts from fostering respect and love for our parents and siblings. As the analects of Confucius stated, loving and respecting our parents and siblings, are they not fundamental to the actualization of human goodness? The foundation of traditional Chinese culture is filial piety. For almost 2,000 years of Chinese history since the Han Dynasty, the concept of filial piety was the basis of Chinese government. Let's take a look at the Chinese character for filial piety, pronounced as xiao. On the top of it, there is an abbreviated form of the character for old. At the bottom, there is a character for child. When combined, it means that the old generation and the younger generation are one entity. However, there are infinite generations in the past and infinite generations to come. This character indicates that the different generations are one entity. That is why the Chinese emphasize the tradition of remembering their ancestors. Some people cannot see the point of doing so. They say, you do not even know your ancestors from several hundred years ago. Why do you still hold remembrance ceremonies for them? The Analects of Confucius explains, let there be careful attention to performing the funeral rites to parents, and let them be commemorated with ancestral remembrance ceremonies. Through this, the people will recover their innate virtue. If we can organize our parents' funerals carefully and remember our ancestors, social customers will naturally become honest. Why is this? If a person always keeps their ancestors in mind and can commemorate them regularly, how can they possibly not look after their parents? It is unlikely that they would remember their ancestors and disrespect their parents at the same time. Therefore, commemorating ancestors fosters one's awareness of kindness of others and develops one's sense of gratitude. In reference to our elders, Confucianism talks of filial piety. In reference to our peers, the notion is extended to love among siblings. At its utmost, all people in the world are our siblings. Mencius also stated, my love for elders at home should be extended to others' elders. My love for the young at home should be applied to the young of others. Therefore, once we have the education of filial piety and love between siblings in place, all other interpersonal relations will be in harmony. So, what does filial piety teach us? It teaches the idea of one entity. This is also in line with what Zhuangzi taught us. Heaven and earth coexist with me. All beings are one with me. Only after we fully believe in the notion of one entity can we truly practice equity and live in harmony with others. When we extend love for parents and siblings, we reach what is said in Buddhism as love that extends across all time and space. Let's take a look into this. What extends across time and space? It is, in fact, our self-nature, or the true self. Many people think this physical body is me, but in fact, my body is not the true me. It is only something that I possess, just like the clothes I'm wearing. Our body is only a body. It's not our true self. French philosopher Descartes held that the person who can think is me, and stated, I think, therefore I am. However, the Chinese philosophers asserted that the person who can think is not the true self. In Buddhism, it is called the rational cogitating mind, but it's not the true self. So what is the true self? It is a thing that extends across all time and space, and it is the basis of all beings in the universe. The true self is like the ocean, and the false self is like the bubbles in the ocean. Every bubble stubbornly thinks that this bubble is me, and is even in conflict with other bubbles. But those who have returned to their self-nature discover that the whole ocean is their true self. Hence, when we understand this truth, how would we ever be in conflict with others? Those who have gained such an understanding are able to reach the state of the benevolent, having no enemies. It does not mean that no one dares to oppose them. It means that a truly benevolent person has experienced the truth of life and the universe. Namely, heaven and earth coexist with me. All beings are one with me. In their mind, they have no conflict with anyone. So naturally, they have no enemy. Since all beings are one whole, how can they possibly be in conflict with others? It is the same as when we accidentally bite our own tongue. Would our tongue seek revenge against our teeth? Let's have a look at Emperor Shun. Emperor Shun's stepmother and stepbrother attempted to murder him many times, but he never held any grudges against them. Instead, he constantly reflected on himself and how he could do better in making his parents and stepbrother happy. Eventually, he touched his stepmother and stepbrother as well as the community. He was later recommended to the emperor, and ultimately, Emperor Yao chose Shun as his successor. People like Emperor Shun are called sages. In Chinese, a person who has truly recognized the oneness, the truth of life and the universe, is called a sage. They have returned to their self-nature and have recovered their innate virtue. The emperors Yao and Shun are sage kings. It is said in the teachings of Mencius that the way of the great emperors Yao and Shun was simply the practice of filial piety and love among siblings. Our love and respect for our parents and siblings is elevated to love for all. Then the world will naturally be at peace. There is an old Chinese saying, "Turn enemies into friends." But how do we achieve this? By moving others with our sincerity. The doctrine of the mean says, only utmost sincerity can reform others. Utmost sincerity can nurture and touch all beings. It can touch heaven and earth and, of course, human beings. What happens when we do not follow the teachings of the sages and instead resort to competition or conflict to deal with problems? Well, we find ourselves in the situation of an eye for an eye, an endless cycle of retaliation. As a result, the conflict inevitably escalates. Both parties are hurt and the problems remain unresolved. The magical effect of traditional Chinese culture is to bring about harmony among human beings. As the Venerable Master Jin Kong once said, "There's no one in the world that I hate. There's no one in the world that I cannot forgive. There's no one in the world that I do not love." In ancient times, the Chinese had harmonious relationships with other countries and also inspired people from far and wide to learn from her. What was the approach of the ancient Chinese? They did not use powerful military force to compel other countries to respect them. Instead, they first ensured that their own country was in order. that the person was in harmony, and that everyone observed propriety. When other people visited China, they admired what they saw and wanted to learn from the ancient Chinese. Therefore, all the golden ages in Chinese history were not only economically prosperous, but also culturally prosperous. It was traditional Chinese culture that enabled good governance of China in history. This is why China has been known as the land of propriety in the past, and the Chinese emperors were respectfully called Khan of Heaven, which means a universally recognized leader, as they can set a good role model for others. Love for one another to the greatest extent is global harmony. So what does a harmonious world look like? It is said in the Book of Rights, the world belongs to its people. In a harmonious world, the virtuous and the capable are chosen to be leaders. Trust and good neighborliness is promoted. All people love and respect their parents and children, as well as the parents and children of others. As a result, the elderly are cared for, adults realize their full potential, and the children are raised with care. Widows, widowers, orphans, and the childless, people with disabilities, and those with illness are all well taken care of. Is such a world not the Chinese dream that people in China today are pursuing? It is with this harmonious world in mind that the Chinese hope to revive the nation and also build the One Belt and One Road. China not only wishes to develop its own economy, but also help countries along the Belt and Road to develop their economies. China not only hopes to develop economies, but more importantly, bring the peace-loving traditional Chinese culture to the world through the Belt and Road Initiative, and offer inspiration for resolving the myriad problems that confront the world today. That is why at the international conference, in commemoration of Confucius' birthday in 2014, President Xi of China said, "There are people with visions in the world who think that the rich traditional Chinese culture, including the notions of Confucianism, can inspire us to resolve the serious problems that humankind today is facing." President Xi's words are not without basis. The moral teachings of the ancient sages are universally applicable, just like bright lights that guide us in the long dark night. Such teachings can even have an impact on animals. 搜神后记 records a historical account. During the Jin dynasty, Mr. Yang in Guangling had a dog, which he loved dearly. He took his dog wherever he went. One day, he was walking past a field, but was very drunk and fell asleep in the field. It was a severe and windy winter, and someone set the field on fire. His dog barked and barked, running around him in the hope of waking him up. But he was too drunk to hear. There happened to be a small pond nearby, so the dog went into the pond, wet himself in the water, ran back to his master and shook the water off his body onto the patch of grass around its master's body. The dog repeated this many times and eventually managed to wet all the grass around its master's, such that the flames could not reach him. This dog saved Mr. Yang's life, and he only realized this when he woke up. Those achievements are attained through good teachers. The essence of traditional Chinese culture is respecting teachers. If traditional Chinese culture was like a tree, filial piety would be its roots, and respecting for teachers would be the trunk. Respecting teachers is the key to practice traditional Chinese culture. There's a story about great Master Lianchi of Pure Land Buddhism. As a young novice monk, he revered the famous Zen master Bianrong and traveled a long distance to learn from him. The journey was a pilgrimage. When he finally reached Master Bianrong, he prostrated respectfully and asked how he could emulate the Buddha and discover his self-nature. Master Bianrong replied, "Young novice, do not be tempted by fame and offerings. You must let go of them." Other visitors who witnessed this laughed at this seemingly cliché advice. However, to Master Lianchi, who was sincere and respectful, "Do not be tempted by fame and offerings," was like hitting the nail on the head. He was also to benefit from these words throughout his life. His subsequent great accomplishments stemmed from his following the Zen master's advice. Although many students receive the same instruction from the same teacher, the degree of their understanding and the speed of their progress will vary according to the extent to which the individual student accepts the instruction. What causes this difference? The difference lies in the extent of respectfulness within the student. Great Master Yin Guang of Pure Land Buddhism advises us that with 1% of sincerity and respectfulness, we gain 1% of benefit. With 100% of sincerity and respectfulness, we gain 100% of benefit. Without such respectfulness, we gain no benefit from studying. When we accept and study the teachings of the sages, we need an attitude of utmost sincerity and respectfulness. Traditional Chinese culture edifies the mind. Without sincerity, we cannot learn the truth. Without respectfulness, we cannot even begin to understand traditional Chinese culture. In summary, filial piety is the fundamental basis of traditional Chinese culture because it can inspire one's boundless love, recover one's true nature. Through utmost sincerity, it can naturally turn enemies into friends, achieve the statement of the benevolent having no enemies, and attain harmony throughout the world. The fulfillment of all this requires learning the wisdom of the sages. Thus, respectfulness is the essence of traditional Chinese culture. The education of filial piety and attaining enlightenment requires the guidance of wise teachers. It is our fortunate to have Master Jing Kong as our great teacher and to give us a rare opportunity to make a contribution to the world peace. Only when we have sincere respect can we fully accept and practice his guidance, and thus impart the teachings and wisdoms of the ancient sages for generations to come. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is so much to say. We move on, if we may. I'm mindful of the time. We did start late. But can I call upon the third speaker, who will now consider the business perspective linked to the governance of ancient China. And I call upon the Chairman, Liang Wu. Very warm welcome to you.
尊敬的大会主办方，尊敬的师长，诸位大德，女士们、先生们，大家好！非常感谢大会主办方让莫学分享在现代企业中家文化如何入世的心得。2015年9月，联合国193个国家 通过了2030年人类可持续发展的17个目标。今年8月，莫学受邀出席了联合国全球企业公约组织在日本东京举行的第10次中日韩圆桌会议，对区域性推进可持续发展进行了深度的讨论。我们在会上建议，17项目标要有核心，才能真正解决问题。核心就是教育。这里指的教育是伦理、道德、因果的教育，敬教、身教、言教合一，感化人心的真心的教育，真爱的教育。真爱是对宇宙万物无条件的爱。现在社会上冲突频发，冲突的根源来自自私自利。当利害摆在面前，一般人都只想到满足自己的利益。然而，化解冲突的方法是从内心深处化解对人、对事、对物的对立，用真爱去爱宇宙万物。而真爱就在各宗教的教义与精神中。我们向古人求教，从经典中汲取智慧。古人的智慧就像古井里的水，现在人如何汲取这智慧之水，需要用现代的瓶子去承载。也就是古人的智慧如何让现代人相信，要做出样板，让大家看得见、摸得着。苏州固德是一家上市公司。7年多前，我们探索如何把家文化落实在企业中，创建幸福企业典范。为什么用家文化？因为父母对子女的爱最接近真爱，家提供的信任度最高，对孩子的呵护是全方位的，家的管理也是成本最低、效率最高的。在家庭教育、学校教育、社会教育、宗教教育中，家庭教育是其他3个教育的根。所以，中国古人的家庭是最重视教育的。我们探索，逐步在完善以8大模块为具体落实方法的家文化。人文教育是因，敦人敬分是古，其他是枝叶。根呵护好了，才能结出丰硕的果实。固德幸福员工的标准是好女儿、好媳妇、好妻子、好妈妈、好员工、好的义工。为什么员工的评判标准和其在家庭中的表现有关？正所谓家和万事兴。一个员工要在家庭中扮演好自己的角色，才能尽到应尽的本分。所以，家庭和睦是基础，蕴含教育的关怀，不仅让人感受到爱，还将爱敬、关爱、照顾、互助、谦卑落实在每个人的心上。我们的员工就是家人。准妈妈关爱与教育计划、留守儿童关爱计划、黄金老人关爱计划等等，我们效法古圣先贤， 出资5000万，成立益田大家庭基金，让员工有一个家的依靠。信任是现代社会的一大危机。我们近2000名员工上下班不用打卡，把信任交给员工，把计件制改成计时制，让员工做事心物一体，体现家的温暖。我们每年每人的平均学习时数达300小时，主要学习的是如何助人的道理。全公司拥有23间教室，我们始终把教育放在第一位。在当今社会情况下，我们认为企业应该是一所校办企业，企业家应该是首席教育官。正己才能化人，其身正，不令而行；其身不正，虽令不从。管理是管理自己，感化他人。言传身教，才能上行下效。我们倡导回归自然农耕，建立幸福农场，不用农药、化肥，保护我们的地球母亲，落实天地人合一的农耕文化，使人有回归自然的幸福感。我们近2000名员工5年多时间，数十的坚持，减少了碳排放量，相当于种植了201棵树。上医治未病，我们建立中医养生馆，邀请中医师为员工及其家属免费诊疗。探索中国留守儿童问题的解决之道，把家文化推广到广西大兴中学，建设幸福校园，走进广西乡村，关爱当地的留守儿童和留守老人，把家文化建设延伸到乡村。我们创造机会，让妈妈回家，把母爱留在孩子的身边。在养老院、儿童福利院、社区、公交站台、大街小巷，留下了顾得志愿者的足迹。共享愿景，分享成果。我们与中国其他企业5家企业一起成立沉浸幸福伙伴联盟，共同承担社会责任，树立榜样。我们定期举办亚洲幸福企业家学习营，现在已有7家海外的企业成为幸福伙伴成员。我们应邀在海内外各地分享落实家文化的心得，让更多的人了解家文化的内涵。有人曾经问我，家文化在不同国家、不同的文化、不同的宗教以及民族、不同的社会组织，甚至于亏损的企业，是否可以实施和落实？下面我就跟大家汇报一个探索“一带一路”家文化落实的实例。我们中国总书记提出的“一带一路”，我们给世界要呈现怎么样的图片？中国的企业 应该如何走出去，给世界做什么样的榜样？今年3月，我们收购了马来西亚一家半导体公司，这是一家连续亏损多年、面临倒闭的企业。要怎么做呢？就是用真爱、家文化带给大家。因为多年的亏损一直没有调薪，员工希望新的雇主加薪。我们不以金钱来博得员工的欢喜，我们希望共同建设家园，并承诺有利润先加薪。百善孝为先，倡导孝道，关爱员工的父母。事诸父如事父，事诸兄如事兄。我们给全体员工的父母发放100元，每年1200马币的孝顺金。那么我们收购后，我们做的第一件事情是什么？我们是走进员工的宿舍，关心员工的生活，体现家的概念。员工非常感动，他们说以前的高管都从来没有来看过我们，而董事长来的第一件事情就是走进我们的宿舍。那么第二件事情，我们是关爱员工的餐厅，民以食为天。我们用心用爱来打造最干净的餐厅，干部带头，全员参与，用心呵护自己的家，提供健康的饮食搭配，保障员工所需的营养。第三件事，关怀全公司的15间洗手间。以前进入要捂着鼻子，脏乱差。现在全员参与，干部带头，共同呵护我们的洗手间。经过大家的呵护，面貌焕然一新。收购后的第4件事情，就是恭敬爱护天地万物，对厂房、设备、设施进行全面的修缮，慈心与物，培养员工的恭敬心。收购后的第5件事情，虽然我们每周只有4天的订单任务，至少有15%的人是多余的。既然是家文化，我们就向社会、向大众宣布永不裁员。我们尊重和信任员工，取消上下班的收身。建国军民，教学为先，把教育放在首位，建幸福学堂。所有干部先学习，做榜样。我们尊重各民族文化，被封闭多年的穆斯林圆顶建筑得以重新的恢复。我们赞叹伊斯兰教每天5次的祈祷，这正是自我修行的良机。大家用心重新装修宁静、清净、神圣的祈祷室。手牵手，心连心，我们都是兄弟姐妹，主动融入当地文化。邀请回教的阿红组织大家一起学习《古兰经》。家文化的落实是包容和尊重当地的文化。我和我妈妈也一起参加了 古兰经的学习。在穆斯林斋月期间，调整工作与饮食的供应时间，把员工当成自己的孩子。不同民族的员工与伊斯兰员工共同庆祝开斋节。每周五，全体员工一同穿上当地的民族服装。种族间的问题可以通过彼此的尊重、沟通，用真心付出得以化解。我们主张以不占地、不砍树的经济发展观，把资源留给子孙后代。停车场对面的3亿亩空地留给所有的众生用。我们利用停车场的小小空间，创建8个微型农场，恢复自然农耕，让员工食用自己种植的健康蔬菜，感受家的温暖。我们组建志愿者队伍，把爱传出去。首先关爱员工的家庭，送上爱心，让孩子有更好的学习和休息空间。关爱当地小学生健康，送上净水器，让孩子喝上健康之水。用真心无事不办，利用旧站板、自助篱笆、桌椅、板凳等，发扬勤俭持家的精神。这是家文化导入后的财务数据。从数据上看，实际经营的情况要比预算好很多。上个月已经开始盈利了，经营状况越来越好，客户信心大增。这是家文化导入后马来员工托华人转发的信息，说今天我与异族同事谈起您和杨总，我们非常高兴和感到欣慰。我们中国老板那么好，非常棒。虽然不懂得听华语，不知道你们在说什么，不过我们看到了你们的真诚，感动了大家，从绝望中看到了彩虹。希望你们常来看看我们马来西亚的小小资源，为我们加油。这是另一位员工的感悟。
dan juga kaki tangan sekaligus telah menerapkan semangat bekerjasama sebagai satu pasukan. Sebagai contoh, tangan kita mempunyai 5 jari dan setiap jari memerlukan antara satu sama lain untuk bekerjasama seperti satu keluarga.
需要向大家特别报告的是，顾德总部没有给予财务、技术、市场、管理人员的支持。 只是给了他们家文化的理念和具体怎么落实的方法，所以我们的心得是：真爱之心语是真正的世界语言，它不分种族、不分国界、不分宗教。我们要向古人求教，认真学习经典，才能实现人类的可持续发展。我们还在路上，还存在很多问题，坚信古人的智慧。 老实听话真干。最后，我将我们的顾德愿景分享给大家，用心将圣贤文化带给全世界，造福全人类。谢谢大家。
Can I thank our 3 speakers for their presentations? We've had a very interesting engagement and 3 presentations focusing on the politics, education, and the application, of course, within a business context. I encourage you to read and to consider those principles as stated within the ancient principles of China. I'm mindful of the time. I understand that we will now move immediately to the presentations by their excellencies linked with interfaith. And again, can I thank the 3 speakers? Thank you. And I call upon His Excellency to chair the next session. Thank you.